Welcome. Who we got here? Sharp and Lynn. Welcome, folks. Hope you're all doing fine. Well, what a week it's been. Crazy over in the UK. And it looks like it is not, not going to get any better. Let's see. Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland. They're all united. People have had enough. It's finally coming to a head. And I don't know if I should use that term out because of the way this got started. Oh, they got a little fly here. Hey, Liquid Gal, thanks. Thanks for the info there, the input 5x5. Mary, how's it going? Okay, I got a bunch of clips. I want to just review a little bit of what happened there last week. And then there's some new stuff towards a little later on. So let's get going here. And these are short clips. Some are only a few seconds long. Some are 3 minutes or so. And let's bring it up here on the screen. And I have to change out here. Just give me a second, okay? There it is. Hey, first clip. This is, there's going to be some language in a couple of the clips. I'm sure everybody here is of age. That I don't mind this couple of F-bombs here and there. Everybody is getting a little bit worked up over there, so you can understand that. This is the original one that got everything started. And it's ugly.
I'm dead. He still killed him. Hurry up.
He's dead. He's completely dead.
Yeah,
No, he's not.
They got me.
Yeah. Get off him, you fucking rat. Yo! He's coming. He's coming.
He's trying to cut his hair off, isn't he? Hurry up.
Hurry up.
He's slicing his hair off here. Hurry up. The fuck.
Come
on, Faulkner. Come on,
Get him.
Quick. Come on. Get him down. Let him go now. Come on. Yes. Yes. Get up. Get up.
There's a cop. There's a cop. Back off. Back off. Back off.
Quick. Get off. No. Bro, get off. Quick.
He's trying to cut his head off.
He's trying to cut his head off. He's just Faulkner here. He's just together. He's trying. I'm dead. He still killed him. Hurry up.
He's dead. He's completely dead.
Yeah, so what's the latest I've heard here is the guy that got attacked. He's had both eyes gouged out, and he's I don't know if he's made it, if he's passed on yet or not. Was in a coma the last I heard. So that was one of the things that happened. That got everybody going. There's been more since then. So as long as they're in country, there's going to be more issues. I'm going to bring up another short clip here. Get this one going.
And so this particular Sudanese migrant got into the EU, flew to Dublin, and then took a bus to Belfast. And then he claimed asylum in the United Kingdom because Northern Ireland is part of the UK.
And it was granted.
It was granted back in 2023. They gave him, what do they call it, indefinite leave to stay or whatever they call it. Well, this past week he attempted to decapitate a 46-year-old man with some challenges. He's hearing impaired, apparently mildly cognitively impaired, described by neighbors. His name is Stephen Ogilvy, the victim, who was described as the kind of guy who would do anything for you.
Right. If you are on X, just type in Stephen Ogilvy. You will see lots and lots of posts about it over the last few days.
Yeah, it's turned into a real mess, and that's because of the politicians. They're actually blaming Tommy Robinson and Elon. It's their fault that this is all happening. This is politicians that are as corrupt as you can be. They're weffers, and their plan is falling apart. So they're desperate. They're grasping at straws. So they want to try to blame. They want it shut up. They want this closed. They don't want anybody hearing about what's going on. So I'll bring up another clip here. This one here.
These are facts, people. Check it if you don't believe me. Look all over the world. They're trying to wipe out Christianity. And now they've got to Ireland, and that's their plan. And it's looking very likely to me. The travellers are already taking up less than 1% of the population. Now the average Irish person are going to be a minority in this country if we do not stand up and do something about it. This is disgusting what's happening in this country. They're doing sex education classes for as young as 4-year-olds. No 4-year-old should know about these things. No 4-year-old should lose their innocence. No 4-year-old should know about private parts or be taught them in fucking schools. One last thing I'll say. Up the north, a man almost got beheaded. This is a man who suffered from disabilities himself. He already could barely see out of his eyes before this attack. He had a lack of hearing. This man also played a part in taking these people in, trying to care for them. But what did he do? They turned on him. They turned on him and tried to take his life. Only for a hero to step in and nearly take him out. The last thing I will say, a good friend of mine, John Mulhall, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, these are facts, the videos are there to prove it. A man approached him recently, a Muslim man, with a knife. He could see it in his waistband. He asked the man to show him the knife. The man wouldn't show it. He finally pulled it up. The guards got called on site. John said to the guards, if this was an Irishman, what would you do? They admitted they would arrest him. The same guard claimed to be a Catholic from this country, and he says, John, you've got to understand their culture and religion. This is Ireland! This is Ireland! Disgrace! For everyone else who's not here, congratulations to everyone that is here. But whoever's not here, it's time to stop sitting back, get out on the streets, march, and take them out!
Yeah, and that was at the beginning of the week. And it never got any better. It was just getting fired up. This one here. Open this one up. Yeah, that's definitely speaking out against Islam. No wonder. Once it's invited into the country, we see what happens. I'm just going to buzz through a few of these short clips just to bring everybody up to date.
Days has been deeply disturbing. My thoughts remain with the victim of the violent assault in North Belfast, with the wider community affected, and with those who have been attacked, forced from their homes, or made to feel unsafe. Belfast, I know, is resilient, compassionate, and welcoming. To Draps and Exla, to Drap in our Gulpture Differla. Our city is stronger because of its diversity. People from many backgrounds, cultures, and traditions contribute every day to our communities, our public services, and our economy. They belong here. I will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with our ethnic minority communities. We cannot allow a small minority to spread fear, division, and hatred. The overwhelming majority of people in this city reject racism, violence, and intimidation. Everyone deserves to feel safe at work, at school, on public transport, but particularly in their own homes. Let us stand together, support those affected, challenge hatred wherever it appears, and show the very best of Belfast.
People are hiding their children in the attic to prevent, the racists from attacking them. A crisis like this, people like you will come to the rescue. People like you will come and support ethnic minorities. And at the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of my community, I will say thank you.
Okay, that's the other side of the coin. Now, these people are totally clueless, and those migrants would turn on them in a heartbeat, so fast that they wouldn't know what happened. They could be the next victim. Are they still going to say, no, we love these people, the country needs them, and we're not like those other people? Yeah, well, you know what? You can find out real quick. There's other ones here now. Let's see this next one, because how would she feel if this was her? I bet wouldn't be talking the same. Twice in the neck from behind. Look how happy he is, jumping up and down. That poor girl. And that's the culprit that did it, sitting there. That's how dirty they are. They run up behind with a knife and try to do as much damage as they can to somebody. Now, that girl saying about how good they were and how much they respect them and all those people, there was a lot of people there at her speaking. And that's kind of terrifying. And that's why the countries are in the mess they're in. Because of that mentality. It's a liberal left-wing mentality. How did we get here? Well, I'll show you a little later on how we got here. I know it started here in 2015, 2016. We know what happened then in, we know what happened in that time frame. JT was voted in.
I don't think anybody should conflate any issues here. The issue that we saw over the course of the last number of nights has been pure racism. We need online companies, the social media companies, to take this stuff down whenever they see all this misinformation, because there is so much misinformation out there. We will do all that we can to provide the correct information, to provide leadership and guidance in this period. But we today call for calm right across our community. No one wants to see this violence in our streets. These are a pocket of people that are hell-bent on hatred, and we need to call that for what it is. I think that what we saw on Monday night was a horrific attack on our community, and everybody's really, really shocked by that. What we saw subsequently has been racism on our streets, family homes burned out, families being attacked, people living in fear, people who work in our health service living in fear. And I don't make any correlation or any distraction or deflection from that. And I think that unfortunately that is the case when it comes to the DUP and the rhetoric that they are spewing, reverting, I suppose, as type as the DUP do, talking about hard borders on the island of Ireland, attacking the Irish government. I don't think the wider community out there have any kind of truck with that, because I think that what they see in their streets is racism.
So questions the British or an Irish government on immigration or border policy, that's fine. That's democracy. That's healthy. What isn't healthy and what's difficult to hear the questions is over ambulances and fire engines and police officers who are stretched even further than they need to be. When we see the criminality and thuggery on our streets, whether it's trying to burn families in their own homes, whether it's forcing businesses to shut, whether it's forcing parents to have to collect children from their school far too early, when public transport is shut down, whenever people are afraid to even go into work or allow their children to go to a park. I want to see leadership focusing on that in the here and the now, calling that out for what it is. Quite clearly, it's criminality, it's racism, and the wider democratic debate can take place in due course.
they love playing the race card, but only one side. That is, I forget her title, but she's high up in the government. I don't understand the Irish Parliament, so Emma short for fear of Islam. You got it, yeah. Cave in and hope that it doesn't happen to them, and they get bodyguards and armed guards and fence, gated houses and stuff. So they really don't care about anybody else. They are too scared to say anything, and you're going to see in a video here about the police, and you'll understand exactly what you're saying, Emma. Yeah. Let's see. I got to bring up another one.
Good afternoon, folks. It's the day after, the night before. The night that has changed the opinions of many, many men and women of Ulster. The night there are protests organised from many locations all around Belfast, outskirts of Belfast. They have also started planning over in mainland England, UK. I asked that any of the brothers and sisters in the Republic of Ireland, 7 o'clock tonight, your usual meet-up points, wherever it may be. I'm doing this video to call for calm heads, folks. What everyone seen last night was one of the most barbaric actions to be seen here in many, many years. Our people have a past, and that's where it belongs, in the past. Now, you face a new threat. It's a political threat. Many of you may see the post that has been put up from what was signed up to and dealt for in 1998, and Sinn Féin clearly stated that it was for full inclusion, full multiculturalism. I thought their fight was about getting a united Ireland for the Irish people, but it now seems that Sinn Féin would rather see a Sharia Ireland than have anything to do with a civilised place like the Crown. So tonight, folks, 7 o'clock, many locations. The locations are posted on my page. Go on and have a look. Again, a call for calm heads tonight, folks. We do not need any more of our patriots getting landed up in jail, getting arrested for the silliest things. To the PSNI, I urge you to keep your calm also. Don't get involved in any agitations with peaceful protesters who are coming together. Just remember last year, folks. Yes, last year was only a starting point for all of us. My push was always to unite the Protestant and Catholic people. It was on the tips of everybody's tongues. Something needs to happen, this way or that way. I believe last night that thing has eventually happened. And it's time for us people to focus on those who should be accountable. Our politicians have allowed this to happen. They've been letting it happen for a long time. The last 5 years has been the biggest push. I shared stats on my page the other night from enforcement encounters with illegals working here in Ulster. The stats from 2020 over the 5 years up to 25 increased drastically. I have a graph that'll show you in a clip at the end of this video, a picture, just to let you see. So tonight, folks, I urge calm heads, no cameras, no recording, just the people meeting and talking. God bless, folks.
Well, it's I don't think people are really going to be calm. I think those days are over. This one here, I think this is clip number 9, and can't remember what this one is. Take a look.
So as we've seen the Irish are out protesting right now, and what's really sad to see is we see the Garda out basically fighting against the people that feed them, but protecting the people that don't care about them. Now, this should be a warning to everybody in Scotland and around the UK. What you're witnessing in Ireland is going to come to us. We're going to have food shortages, and not only that, we're going to have blackout. If I had a message to the people of the UK, people of Ireland, this is the thing. This is what it's called. It's called the Great Reset Agenda 2030. It is not that hard. The blueprint's there. They've told us, go look at documentaries called The Agenda by Oracle Films. There are plenty of people that are covering this. It is not that hard. And this goes to show you that these government puppets do not work for us. They work for the WEF. They work for these higher elites. What we're getting right now should be a warning to every single person. And when the time comes, which it will come soon, I reckon that with this war kicking off, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to drag us into this war one way or another. They're going to have to bring in the blackouts. They're going to have to bring in the food shortages. And when the time comes, every single person's going to need to bring the fucking noise. I've been saying bring the noise. Bring the noise was originally regarding the harms of the vaccine. It's not about that now. It's about the people coming together because we are the many and they are the few. And it's that simple. If you want to live in a digital system, a 15-minute city, cashless society, they can tell you how far you can travel. Is that what you want? Is that the future that you want for your children, for you? I don't think so. People need to wise up to what's really going on. And when people say wake up to the plan. They keep ticking the boxes. We're not that far away from it. And again, they want you all fighting amongst each other. Why do they want you all divided? Because as soon as they've got every single person divided, it's very easy to bring in this infrastructure. Everything has been planned. Just look at the world since 2020. It is plain as day now. You do not have to be any sort of genius now to just realise that this is just all fucking orchestrated. It is just madness that people can't see it in 2026.
I have now a fellow from the U.S., an American, with a good message here, I think, a good aspect of looking at things.
Belfast is all on fire right now. We've got cars, buildings, because the people of Northern Ireland are tired of the immigration into their country. And after the assault on one of their own by an immigrant from the Sudan, when he almost had his head cut off, they are protesting in a big way. Going door to door, knocking on immigrants' doors, grabbing them out of their houses, lighting cars on fire, lighting buses on fire. I think they've had enough. And this is what happens when your government ignores your cries for help. You get to a tipping point, and then all hell breaks loose. And that's why Donald Trump has stepped it up here in the United States, increased our border security, increased our ICE patrols, because we need to get the immigrants that shouldn't be in this country out of the United States. Because I think Trump saw what was happening in those other countries, the UK, Germany, Ireland, and he's like, not on our watch. But as the tensions keep rising in the areas like Northern Ireland, watch what happens. People have had enough. When the government turns a blind eye to their cries of help, they're going to take matters into their own hands.
Yeah. I agree with what he said there about Trump getting them out of the country. Well, the U.S. has been going through a lot of issues with illegals, major issues. And Trump said he was going to clean that up. And they're still working at it. So, okay, another clip coming up.
Governments in the West are in total freak-out mode. Pins and needles worried. Because they shut things down before when things got out of hand with the protesting. Because right now, I wouldn't want to be a government or a government official in the West because Scotland's burning. Ireland's burning. UK's marching. They're done. And just like we told you, back in 2019, Mike of the Night, in 2019, the world was burning. And what was the world protesting? What was this? This was October 19, 2019. The world was protesting. 63 countries on record were protesting in 2019, making it one of the biggest global protests in the world in 2019. Everyone was protesting the price of fuel, food, the cost of living, blah, blah, blah. What were they protesting? No confidence in government. And what did governments do to fix it? We said in the title, they will pull the trigger on a pandemic. And let's hear this. Rants and Lifestyle from 2017, April 2017. We did a live stream. And they got to stop the fentanyl opioids because that's not being produced in Canada. That's all coming in from China. The fentanyl, especially the high-grade fentanyl, that's all coming in from China. And again, that goes back to our Canada's dying. And yes, how are they going to shut things down? I'll bring it up again. You can make fun of me if you want. They're going to have to pull the trigger on a pandemic. That's the only thing I could see governments doing, or a hot war. So pulling the trigger on a pandemic because they're going to have to shut things down. Because Donald was asking me last week on what are they going to do to shut things down, and I said basically quite a few times now, it's kind of like a broken record. This may not happen, but they need to pull the trigger on a pandemic. They need to declare a national world emergency, and they could do that via hot war, right? So I did take notes for the later show, but I'm gonna. And then over here in 2018, that was 2017. That was 2018. Mike of the Night. What did we tell you? Governments will do what they can to shut it. Yes. So again, it goes back to what we said earlier in a few videos, or quite a few videos ago, where I was in my van and I was telling you guys basically that governments will do anything and everything to not take any accountability for the financial mess they've put us in. And I even went as far as saying they're going to go to a hot war, okay? Or if they have to, they're going to pull the trigger on a mass pandemic because they're going to have to shut this down. We're going into 2019. We're in 2019 in a couple of hours where I am, and we're already, the world is in protest. And we've been telling you guys the world will be going into protest full. Our government's going to shut down the protests of 2026. Let me know in the comments below. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.
It's funny the guy's name is Mike Martins because it's a coincidence actually, but Michael Martin is the Prime Minister of Northern Ireland. So just a coincidence, I guess. Okay, got a couple more here, 3 or 4 more. That's a lot of wind on that mic, eh? But this is Pakistan. Pakistanis. Look who's leading the protest. First the kids, then the women, then the men straggle up behind, right? That's the way they do it. Okay, we don't need 6 minutes of that. I'll spare you that. That's 6 minutes of that is what was going on, but I just wanted to show that they bring the little kids first, then the women, and then the men come straggling behind. Well, that's a different culture for sure. So I got 3 more clips here I wanted to get out. This is Scotland, I believe. Oh, it could be England. This is Scotland here, I believe. Obviously, people are fed up. These are just clips over the last week, and I have two more, and then I've got a couple other things I want to show you. We'll take it from there. This one here.
To the people of Newry, Mourne and Down, we, the New Republican Movement, have watched their councillors and MLAs over the past 12 months. The level of disrespect shown to the people who put you into power, this cannot be ignored any longer. We are proud men of Ireland. We are patriots. Your policies and decision-making in regards to flooding our communities with undocumented military-aged men is not acceptable. We will not sit back any longer and watch our culture and religion destroyed by the people we put in power. Also, the sexual indoctrination of our children in schools has not went unnoticed either. The New Republican Movement will take immediate action against anyone who threatens our ways of life and the safety of our women and children. We have your addresses and known your movements. Every one of you are legitimate targets as of today. The New Republican Movement, 28th of 11/25.
Apparently, they're not fooling around. They do have the addresses, because I seen another clip where a woman was saying, yeah, they're going to different addresses and knocking on doors, and probably more than knocking on the doors. They want in. They want to empty those places out, and they're actually burning them down too, the temporary housing that they're paying for, of course. This one here is the last clip for now.
If tolerance results in a man getting beheaded in the streets, I do not want to be tolerant. In North Belfast, a Sudanese migrant got on top of a man and attempted to saw his head off in the middle of the street. There is absolutely no reason.
The buffering is on her end, but it's not much. It straightens out pretty good. Where'd I go here? Sorry about that, folks.
We should be letting in people from countries that haven't developed. Migration is meant to be beneficial for both parties. There is nothing the Western world benefits from letting in anyone from third world Islamic countries. Nothing. No country, no culture has ever improved because of Islam, because of third world Islam. They don't want to assimilate, they tell us. They believe Sharia law is the way, they tell us. They think white people are dirty, they tell us. Their goal is for Islam to enter every home. They have a well thought out plan to conquer the land of the infidels, they tell us. We're not listening. They hate us for being white. They rape us for being white. They try to behead us for being white. And then they expect us to pay for their stay in our countries that we built, and we are dumb enough to do it. Because the leftists push for this idea of tolerance. Well, they're not tolerant of us. Why am I expected to be tolerant of them? If I tolerate their intolerance, my kind would cease to exist. And I am not dumb. I have survival instincts. So I'm going to call this shit out. I don't care if you call me racist. It has nothing to do with the color of their skin and everything to do with their stupid fucking ideology. And guess what other ideology I think is equally stupid? Modern leftism, practiced by white people, because they're the ones who are inviting this in. I think you're dumb, and I think you're dumb. No discrimination here. Two equally retarded people whose ideas result in this. a man beheaded in the streets because uneducated voters in the West wanted to be tolerant.
Yes. Tolerance. There's no place for it, really. Maybe some things, but I won't go there. That was basically last week. So we got another week ahead of us. It's not going to be getting any quieter. It's probably going to ramp up now because you got the whole United Kingdom involved. But the fellow that the Irishman talking about the WEF. Okay, 2015. Remember Syria was exploding over there, and people were flooding out of the countries, and we were having an election, and Tom Mulcair was leader of the NDP, and Justin Trudeau was the Liberal. Stephen Harper was still Prime Minister. Stephen Harper said they would bring in refugees and asylum seekers, that their lives were in danger, and he was trying to bring in people from the camps, Christians, that the Islamists were trying to remove their top body part. Oh, well, Trudeau said, we're not like that. We don't cherry pick. That's disgusting. Liberals aren't like that. I won't do that. Well, he was right. He didn't bring in any Christians. All he brought in was Islam. And then Tom Mulcair and Justin Trudeau get in a bidding war over who could bring in the most Muslims. Well, Trudeau won. And he didn't back off. That was one of the few promises he kept. That and legalizing pot was about the two promises only. And the country got flooded. And every year he was in, we got more and more. So that's how we got where we're at. Now, the WEF. Justin Trudeau is this doesn't want to open up, or it's opening awful slowly. There it is. I might be able to flip through them quicker once it opens. I'm not sure, maybe not. Anyways, oh yeah, I think I can. There he is, the WEFer, and a young global leader, Chrystia Freeland, a WEFer, a young global leader. Karina Gould, a WEFer, and a young global leader. This is Kaya Bega. She is a WEFer, and I believe a young global leader. Not 100% sure on that, but I think she is. And there's Sean Fraser, a WEFer, possibly a young global leader. I think he might be. These couple of these I'm not sure of. I'll say possibly. Champagne, he's a WEFer. And then we got this guy here. Not only is he a WEFer, he is the co-founder of the WEF with Klaus Schwab. He's in there pretty darn tight. Now, why does Carney, he's in Ireland right now, why does he spend so much time in Ireland? Did you know that Michael Martin, he's the Irish PM, he's WEF. The former Prime Minister Simon Harris, WEF, and a young global leader. So it all kind of ties together. These people he's flying around to meet with, they're all WEFers. So it all smells really bad for a good reason. We got I'll bring up another clip here. We got a little bit of time. I got a couple of things to mention afterwards. This is, I think this is Scotland. I see the British flag in the background. The police are having a bit of a time. They can't really hold that crowd back, can they? Very outnumbered. So this one here, this is very disturbing. And I'm pretty sure this is Scotland too. What's going on here? I'll give you the lowdown on it. No, it's British police. Sorry. It says, this is Jeannie McCrimmon, says Scottish independence is extremely urgent. England is at war with Iran and Russia alongside Israel, Zionist and EU Nazis. It's well documented that violence meted out by countries abroad always comes home. Lozzie B, this is her post, says British police terrorize and assault a 5-year-old white child. British police officers violently pull a 5-year-old boy out of his father's arms and they arrest the father. So this is it's a 38-second clip. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. They're brutal.
Jeff! Jackie! Hi! I'm going to get the child. You're all on camera, mate. You're all on camera. Right. You're all on camera. Go away now. You're all on camera. You're all on camera. I am not video call. I'm not video call. I am not video call. I'm away from them now. You're all on video call. No, you won't. On the walk round. Jeff!
Pretty intense. See the way they manhandled that little boy, 5-year-old? It's just like he was throwing a sack of trash around or something. You know, no wonder the people are blowing up, and it's gonna keep getting worse. This guy here, he gets thrown right into a steel pole for having a flag. For having a flag, they look how they gang up on him. This is the way these cops do it, and they do it all around the world now.
It's just not too bad.
Brutal. Head first into a steel pole, out cold. And then they all just stand there and look at him like, well, what are we going to do? These people are morons. They're totally bought in. This one here, I get a kick out of this one though, because there's a couple of cops, and karma's a bitch. The UK, migrants attacked the police officers. One cop begs, don't beat me. I'm on your side. I'm not a racist. I'm pro-Islam. There's your police force. Here's the video. That's where it's come to. And the police will still cave in because they're told to. They got their orders. And this looks like the last clip here for now. And this is, I'll bring it back here. It's a 1-minute clip. It's not violent.
So anyone who knows Irish culture, they know that the Catholics and the Protestants have been fighting for 200 years, and they've never managed to integrate and live alongside each other. The widespread video of 2 nights ago has called for unity, where the Catholic elders and the Protestant elders have come together to call a 48-hour truce. This is the first time in history that they've called a truce. At 12 o'clock yesterday, both parties came together to unite against what happened in Belfast. This is quite literally history in the making. The island of Ireland will not back down on this fight. And there's reports of a 7-day riot where they target primarily migrant hotels. The weak leadership of the UK government has allowed this all to happen and unfold in our eyes, and the world is watching. So make sure you follow this page for updates over the next couple of days. Thank you for the outpouring support from around the world. New Zealand, Australia, people from India have messaged me, America, Canada. This is an international TikTok page now. Never ever be afraid to use your voice and stay safe.
So, yeah, the world is watching. Maybe Islam's going to take
anyone who knows Irish culture, they
take
know
a
that the
fall.
Catholic...
That's enough, buddy. I've got to bring this up because I got a little bit curious. So I asked Grok a question. And this is the questions, 2 questions, and this are the answers. I said, what are the percentage of the population that are stages of Islamic dominance? Well, Grok came back, said this refers to a non-official theory often called the 4 stages of Islamic conquest or similar stages of Islamization, popularized in certain political and counter-jihad circles, not mainstream academic or Islamic scholarship. Well, it's definitely not the mainstream because they wouldn't dare talk about anything like this now, would they? It claims that Muslim communities in non-Muslim countries shift tactics based on their share of the local population, drawing from historical patterns, Quranic verses, Mecca versus Medina phases, and observations of modern demographics. The model is attributed to sources like Civilis Defendus and appears in various blogs, presentations, and legislative exhibits. The common breakdown of the stages. These percentages are not from Islamic doctrine or rigorous studies, but represent a heuristic model. Well, it depends what sect, maybe. I don't know. Stage 1, infiltration and introduction, under 2% of the Muslim population. Small numbers of immigrants, refugees arrive, emphasis on peaceful coexistence, tolerance appeals, building mosques, low-profile proselytizing, cultural conflicts are minimal or subtle. Examples cited, early Muslim communities in parts of the West or historical beachheads. Stage 2, consolidation of power, proselytizing, 2 to 5% or up to 10%. Increased demands. Remember these percentages, okay? In the back of your mind here, 2.5 up to 10. Increased demands for accommodations, halal food. Do you see that in the stores? Prayer rooms. Do you see that? Sharia compliant finance. That's happening. Religious exemptions. Growth via higher birth rates. Oh yeah, immigration and conversions, especially from other minorities. Mosques expand as centers of influence. Political organizing begins. The Liberal Party's got a whole bunch of Muslims in it. Stage 3, open warfare, expansion and confliction, 5 to 15% or 10 to 20%. Morris, that's probably where Ireland and the UK and Scotland are, and Wales. More assertive push for influence, localized conflicts, protests, no-go areas in some cases, and political pressure. UK's got the no-go areas for sure, and probably Ireland too. Alleged increase in violence or intimidation against critics, targeting of cities and institutions. That is exactly where the UK is right now. Stage 4, totalitarian theocracy, dominance approaching or exceeding 20 to 50%. Push for Sharia law implementation, dominance in governance, suppression of other faiths, cultures, full societal control where Muslims become the majority. Historical examples cited include parts of the Middle East, North Africa, and Pakistan. Now, what Grok just said, well, no, this is kind of just a like kind of a far-right conspiracy theory, but here it's just giving me the examples right there of yes, it is happening. Context and caveats, current global figures. Muslims make up 24 to 26% of the world population, around 2 billion plus out of 8 billion. But the highest concentrations in the Middle East, North Africa. Those concentrations are just getting diluted because they're coming here. Less than 90% in many countries. Parts of Asia and sub-Saharan Africa, growth is driven by high fertility rates and youth demographics. In Western countries, shares are much lower, 1 to 2% in the US, 5 to 6% in parts of Europe, with projections rising via migration and births. I don't think these numbers are right up to date because the census is, all those are not in probably, including in Canada. This model is controversial and debated. Critics call it oversimplified or Islamophobic, fear-mongering, noting that most Muslims in the West integrate peacefully and that outcomes depend on many factors: governance, integration policies, secularism, etc. Supporters point to patterns in countries like Lebanon, once Christian majority, now heavily influenced, parts of Europe, grooming scandals, parallel societies, or historical conquests. Historical spread of Islam, early rapid conquests, 7th to 8th centuries, created Muslim majorities, many regions through a mix of migration, incentives, intermarriage, and later conversions, not instant majorities. Demographics alone don't determine outcomes. Okay, that's their reality check here. And the population projections of Pew Research show Muslims growing but not overtaking most Western nations. Soon. Well, what do they call soon? I want the latest stats, percent of Muslims in Canada, how many per year since 2015. Latest official stats as of 2026, according to Stats Canada 2021 census, Muslim made up 4.9% of Canada's population. 4.9%. Let's go back to that percentage again. Open warfare, 5 to 15%. We're just below that. Consolidation of power, proselytizing, 2 to 5%. We're 4.9. Canada's population, the Muslim population totaling 1,775,715 people. 3.2% or 1.05 million in 2011, at 2% in 2001. So, roughly right now we're 5 to 5.2, so we're above that 5%. We're creeping up above that, so it's getting into a bad percentage. Growth trends since 2015, that's when Trudeau came in. Immigration, Muslims formed a rising share of immigrants, often 15 to 20% in various periods, especially from countries like Pakistan, India, Iran, Syria, etc. And the high fertility rates in the Muslim population. Census benchmarks, it was 3.2% in 2011, 2021, 4.9%, so we're up well over the 5.2. So, not looking good. I just wanted to make a quick note here. What about if, say in 1939, I'll pull that year up, right, as an example. In 1939, what if single military-aged Germans started flooding into Western countries, started attacking citizens? How would that been received back then, just before World War II? I think I know the answer. I think you do too. They wouldn't be welcome. How come it's changed? Why? What's going on? You know why? There wasn't any WEF back then. That's what's running the show right now. So we got our hands full. Might get a strike on this one. I don't know. So what do you folks think? Are we in trouble? Or are we, or am I just exaggerating? Take a quick look at the chat here and see what's going on. Who have we got? Let's see. Come down the list here. Something going on with Phil, his health with his son. Nick, I don't want to let them get down the list. Are you guys ready? Time is an invaluable weapon. Liquid Gal, I believe once they hit 10%, then the demands are bigger and they will use our laws against us. I think they're doing that right now. Phil, the 1400-year caliphate exceed 300 million people. This is what Islam do. The caliphate was restarted around 2000. Yeah, and right now it looks like the what were they called? Anyways, looks like the Knights are back in action. The British and Irish and Scots and Welsh. We're a big shite, Faye, yes. They're now claiming to be very sophisticated. Yes, well they are. They've got a lot of high-tech stuff now to use. We need to do like America. 11 states want laws brought in, no Sharia law. Hope it passes. We got to get rid of this government before we can do that. That's for sure. Phil, you're spot on, Fred. Bridget Gabriel on YouTube is a must-see. And Gad said, I'm not familiar with Bridget, but Gad said, yes. Plumber's crack. We're not in trouble. We are already done for. It's nasty out there, isn't it? I'm seeing lots of full burqas. I had a big East Indian behind me in line up at this Dollarama store. I was picking up a couple of cheap items. I know I shouldn't shop there, but anyways, on his cell phone, loud screaming and hollering. He's on speakerphone, and the other guy's back hollering back. It's all in Hindi, right? So I have no idea what he's talking about. But hey, buddy, why didn't you wait till you're outside, you ignorant slob? His little wife there with the kid. Yeah. Emma, if they're so sophisticated, why are they allowed to marry their siblings? Maybe that's all they can get. Lynn, Texas governor banned Sharia law, but it's still here. They just don't listen. All right? And they won't listen because they've got an agenda. They've got to fulfill it. There's, it's scary. I feel sorry for the young people, and there's nowhere to hide or run to, rather. Not that they should stand their ground. But, I mean, the U.S. is doing a lot better, that's for sure. At least they're not going under full-out communism like we are. So with communism comes hardships here, censorship. I'm going to, maybe next week I want to get into some things that is going on right now in Canada that is very reminiscent of Germany in 1939, and how the control was brought in and how the people wanted it. And then they found out when they got what they wanted, they weren't happy because it turned into a mess. We're heading down that path. It started with Trudeau. Carney was the kingpin, is the kingpin. Trudeau was the stooge that was put in. Carney was waiting in the wings. He was dropped in. That whole leadership convention was a farce. that debate they had. That was a total joke. And then he just got his spot, kicked the guy out of the riding there. It's outside of Ottawa, and jumped in, and here we are, heading down history's road of 1939. Okay, folks. Look how the British and the Irish and the Scots and Welsh are all sticking together. That's what we have to do. I just hate it that these idiot Canadians are booing the American national anthem. They're so low-life fools, and they're a disgrace to our country. And any Americans on here, we love you. We're not like that. That's the liberal mindset. So, folks, thanks for joining in and hanging in here. We'll do it again next week. I don't know if I'm going to get any videos up this week. It all depends. So, I will say, have a wonderful week. And it's always great seeing you on here in the chat. And bye for now. God bless.